Hey, welcome back. Welcome back to the Virgo channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to the channel, I'm going to do a general message for Virgo. Know that energy is fluid. Roles could be reversed. Just interpret the message as it best resonates with you. Also know on this channel and all my channels, I like to dive deep within the reading. So I do look at everything, but we take a lot more time to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, to see how they play out as karmic themes, to help you understand why you're attracting who you're attracting and why things are playing out the way that they are in your connection. Now, if you want to know why your person does what they do and what the whole reason of why you attract that person into your life, then this is definitely going to be the channel for you. Because the readings have a therapy style to them. All right, before we get started, I just want to give a shout out to Otter Spirit. I'm wearing the beautiful bracelets. I love this one. I say it every day because it's my favorite one. It's watermelon chalcite. Look at this bracelet. See the green in it? See? And then all these stones work with the heart chakra to keep my heart open. We all have spiritual blockages. It doesn't matter whether or not you've been on your healing journey for 100 years or for a day. We all have spiritual blockages. So crystals, when you wear them, they align your energy. And they do so because when you look at them, well, it puts that energy into your mind. It's your thoughts and your emotions that create your energy. So having something like a crystal grid or wearing a piece of jewelry, that's a crystal that represents a psychological or emotional energy, really, because that's what crystals do. They represent the psychological and the emotional aspects of ourselves. And when we say, oh, I love this crystal because it's so pretty, it's really we needed that crystal. So I know I have a blocked heart chakra, and not because of relationship, but because of the family that I grew up with. And that's going to be a lifelong healing journey. We can't just heal a one and done, especially if, our parent was really imbalanced, where my mother tried to kill me several times and my father had cancer over 8 times, and it became every man for themselves. So I grew up with the psychic gift of claircognizance, which is clear knowing, which overrides that logical analytical mind, because when you grow up in survival mode, it swells the amygdala. And the amygdala is that gland in the head that's job is to sense out outside stimuli that is a threat to us. So if you grow up with a parent at a young age that you can't trust, well, you begin to have eyes in the back of your head. And it's that survival mechanism, because we all have a spirit part of ourself, and the spirit part of ourself is a God part of self that's all knowing. There is no separation. However, we do form habits and behaviorisms from being in environments that are really imbalanced. So in order to obtain the abundance and the love and the other things that really it's our birthright to have, it's our spiritual sovereignty to have, become almost impossible to have unless you are able to access that higher self. That's really what overrides that logical analytical mind. It's like God wins, right? Because God part of self is that deity part of self, which is the energy of love, which is the same energy as the universe. So the universe always knows what's to bring you to help you heal, and our karmic relationships tell us what needs to be healed. Also the experiences, but we could really see within our relationships due to how that person triggers us, right? What it triggers inside of us. So again, I'm wearing my rose I don't want to say they're rose chakra, because that's more like the heart chakra, though this jasper stone is, like I said, it's a rose quartz along with black and white dragon gate. I love this because it's like I chose them myself. I didn't like the combinations that they had. I like the ones that I like to pick and choose, and you get to do that too. And you get 15% off if you click on the link. Also, if you're interested in shadow healing, group shadow healing is only $7.99 a month. You can't beat it because you get inner child healing, shadow healing, reparenting, and all the healing modalities to help you heal the effects of trauma. Very important because it's not a one and done. We form habits and behaviorisms that are just habitual that you need to, again, reverse. And no one wants to do that shit on their own. I mean, we can say that we do, but who's going to really get up every day and do the breath work and do the tapping and do the cognitive exercises? We don't want to do that. I mean, life gets caught up, or we'll do it for a certain amount of time and then we don't do it. So we're not consistent enough to actually see the results. So for $7.99 a month, you can now. All right, let's see what the underlying energy is. To those of you that don't know, I do have an oracle system also out for healing the effects of trauma, and I always use it to open up the readings. I also like to layer these cards. All right, let's see what it is. By the way, all my merchandise will be also in the description box. Okay, self-observation. That is the underlying energy that is telling us why everyone's doing what they're doing. We're going to pull a secondary card right now, and that is impatient. Well, I believe that you're in separation from someone that is growing very impatient, and now they're starting to look at themselves. It's like at first it was all your fault. It was something that you did, something that you said. I feel like you are very confident and this person is not confident. So they look at your confidence as if you're being superior, but it's not like you're being superior. It's that this person's just used to dealing with lower energies. So I don't really feel like they're doing much because, again, there's a lot of shame there. And now you might say, well, whatever they did, they're not really shameful. It brought up a lot for them because it's one element of everything else that's going on in their life, their relationship. But it's a reoccurring theme of shame. So this person never looked at what they do to create that shame. The relationship is a karmic relationship, we know, because again, it's put them in a place of self-observation. And also that they're sitting around waiting for you to come back, waiting for you to reach out. And what they're realizing is, hey, maybe you're not coming back. You know, that's what it is. Because this person wasn't looking at anything that they did. It wasn't until you're silenced. It wasn't until so much time went by, rather. So it's kicking up a lot of stuff. Again, where like for you, this person, the whole time, they would make promises and just never keep them. I think that they would say things like, we should really go to dinner, or we should really hang out, and then they would never follow through. They would do things to see whether or not you were interested. And they love the fact that someone of your high caliber, even though your high caliber triggers them, is that they don't even know how they would get somebody like you, how somebody like you would even be interested in them. So it's like this person would continually offer to do things or get together, and you could feel that they liked you, but they would never keep up on their promises. They would say one thing and they just never. And after a while, you will like, oh, this person just says whatever they say. But I feel like it was a way to try to keep you a little bit stuck. They liked the idea. They would say one day. And the thing is, this person had a lot of secrets. And they weren't willing to really open up those secrets. And I feel like those secrets were about relationships, possibly being in a relationship, you know, just... Again, the person that has wounds, they're not going to be very transparent because they feel inadequate. Again, now this person's drowning in their emotions. And the thing is that I feel like they got so mad and they projected so much onto you. They actually thought that you were going to be drowning in your emotions because, hey, they were disconnected and they said to themselves, they're never coming back. And now what they see is you're probably not coming back. Maybe they were the toxic person. This is what they're starting to see. We're going to look at a few more triggers before we actually look and see from a spiritual perspective what this person is feeling internally. hobby, again, just didn't give you the time. Like they had time for everything else, but they didn't have time for you. A lot of broken promises. And then you were like, okay, like a mask, like you say one thing, you don't do another. You don't really know who this person is because they're not really even letting you in their life. And for some, like I said, well, it goes back to ignoring. And for some, again, there was somebody in the past, well, that this person was not 100% letting go of. And they could have been divorced. They could have been separated. But if they had children, if they had other things, it was a little still too codependent for your liking. So you're like, as long as somebody else is there, you're not going to be able to let me in. And you keep saying that we're going to get together and that you want to get together and giving me these messages, but then nothing ever manifests from it. And then I look online or I find out that you have no problem going fishing or going ice skating, whatever the hell your hobby is, like you have got a lot of time for that. You got a lot of time for other people, but you don't have time for me. So again, we have to say, well, why did this person do that, first of all? And then we'll look at the spiritual energies, because a lot of times this is where you're going to see the self-sabotaging behavior. And what we know right now is that this person got triggered by you, but now they're again looking at themselves. So it's kicking up a lot of their blocks because they're seeing, I didn't give you anything. Again, there's a lack. Again, so this person might have just gotten out of a divorce or, again, are still dealing with the repercussions of that separation where they don't really have a lot. They're stuck in a place of lack. And that's possibly why they're finally looking at themselves. I feel like when you dealt with this person, they really thought who they were. They were cocky. They were wearing a mask. And now, if you really knew who they are, you wouldn't recognize them, I feel like. And this person likes to be perceived as the authority, but they take a lot of risks. So I feel like they had very risky behavior in a previous relationship. It didn't work out. And for a long time, again, they didn't deal with it. And they didn't deal with you either. So that's the thing. A person that has addictions to avoid their problems, how they see things is very distorted, and they're going to have risky behavior because people that drink or do drugs, they don't care. That's the way of shutting off their feelings and emotions. So what happened is that their connection was either ending or was already ended. And you felt like there was still a connection. There wasn't still a connection. I feel like this person was still kind of depending on that previous person for money because there was a lack. So they were, again, going along with everything that person said, but that person was like not happy. They didn't really want them to, because it's like of how you treated me, but I feel obligated to. But if I'm going to help you, it's going to be underneath my terms. And this person wore a mask and pretended that they had their shit together when they didn't have their shit together at all. And so again, we have to say, so how did you get into this mix? What is the whole point of you? Well, if their relationship was ending, in their mind, they thought that they could still date or still, hang out. But now what they're realizing is they have no money. They're dependent on somebody else. They have nothing to offer to you. I long ago shut down those parts of me that wanted love, romance, and intimacy, but you make me long for those things. So this person was like, again, that relationship just was not a good relationship. It ended. This person never really dealt with the issues of that situation. They drank, they did drugs to kind of not, have to think about what happened. And so with you, how they treated you, you triggered their shame, but they had that shame from this previous relationship for a long time ago. So it's, again, they weren't planning on having any feelings for you. So it's like, here it is, you come along, you have feelings, you say something, they're in a low self-esteem because of what was going on in their life. So of course they heard everything through the lens of their wound, not really what you said. Being mirrors for each other makes self-love so important. I wish I was there to love you, but if I'm not, I want you to love and nurture yourself. This person can feel that you're not, that you see them, their mask fell off. pretty much. And they're like, we were connected at one point. I feel like they ignored this connection because of that previous situation. And they didn't really know how to handle that previous situation, or this one for that matter. I've been giving away my power to people in my life. I'm learning to set boundaries. I told you. It's like that karmic was like, well, if I'm going to help you out, this is what's going to happen, and this person did it, but they shut themselves down through addiction. So it's not that they didn't have feelings for you. It's like they just didn't know how to deal with their shit. Our mission is to be unconditional love. Clearing our programming is necessary part of opening our hearts. So what spirit is saying is like, because I don't think that this person's evolved enough to say this, is that again, there is this spiritual connection. This person wasn't planning on having feelings for you. They were in a bad situation and not really dealing with that situation, letting people, that karmic, control them. Now they have these feelings, and really they have to clear the programming, and you're helping them do that through unconditional love, meaning there's a connection, whether this person was bad, good, indifferent. You can't help who you love. It's like you recognize that this person is recognized that this is what's bringing them back to self-observation. They weren't looking at themselves and seeing, oh my God, so much time is going by and you're not anywhere to be found. And, their life isn't happy. They're like, well, of course you'd be nowhere to be found. I've been giving away my power to everybody. That karmic. Again, see, this person has to finish this karmic contract in order to be free. See? So it's like, it looks like their heart is with another. Their heart isn't with another. They have to turn around and tell that person, like, here's your money here, like, or I don't need your money. I'm leaving. They have to be the one that cuts it. They have to be the one that ends that karmic contract, because that karmic doesn't give a shit. It's like, I don't care what happens to you, but it's like, I own you. It's like, for the way that you treated me, you clearly weren't there. You didn't do whatever. It ran its course. This karmic is not happy. It says, I'll help you out, but it's going to cost you. And this person is starting to see that they traded their life for like a stability, when really they are the ones that make the stability. The karmic wouldn't even want them. So this person has a very low self-esteem. Clearing the illusions of the 3D world. Don't take everything at face value. There's a lot more going on spiritually and energetically than you can see. So you're looking and saying they're not doing shit. And so a lot of internal shit is happening. They're saying, I'm giving my power away to people. I don't like my life. I actually have strong feelings for you. A long time ago, I shut myself down. This is how I treated you. They have shame because of it. They also have shame because of the way that they're living. And they also have shame because that karmic tells them that that's what they deserve. I'm struggling with codependency. I'm afraid to let go of my old coping mechanism. We know the addictions. This person, again, as long as they stay like that, this is what the problem is. These feelings overwhelm me and I'm afraid. Sometimes I run away from you because of it. Yeah, because you bring them to their healing. You bring them to self-observation, and they don't like what they see. So this is a lot of projection is what you're going to see. I mean, this is what it is for this person right now. I just feel like, please don't give up on me. I'm trying to change. And, I daydream about you. Sometimes it's sexual. Sometimes it's about our life together. So they're not grounded. They, again, fantasize because it's another way to escape, along with the alcoholism or drugs and being connected to someone that they don't really want to be connected to. So that's what's happening with them. So you have to say right now, are they going to do anything? And I'm not saying that you should be with this person. I'm just curious, what is their plan? And we're only going to pull 2 to see, and it might not be anything right now, just again to satisfy our ego per se, right? So as you surrender your 3D expectations, I surrender our 5D connection. So it's almost like the more time that goes by, you don't expect anything of this person. And now this person, is like being that you're not expecting anything because they're still connected to somebody else, they're able to really explore this spiritual connection because there's no obligation. And really, what is unconditional love? There is no ownership or expectation. So, you may not like the way that this person is doing it, and you probably don't. But understand they also don't like how you're triggering them. But it's this connection is to bring up that wounding. Really, again, these feelings overwhelm me, and I already pulled that, and I pulled it again. So it's the same thing. Like it's almost like I'm still connected to somebody else that I don't really want to be with. I feel obligated. I'm in shame, so I feel obligated. But I have this connection to you, and it's so strong. But it makes me have to be accountable. It makes me have to look at my wounding, and I'm not 100% ready for this. This is what I see. I don't see that they have to work through it. So the best thing that you can say, again, like their plan is when I get out of here, I would be making a beeline back to you, but who knows when that would be. And you have to say, well, why did the universe bring this person into my life? I'm looking for a deck of cards. That's why my eyes are darting around like a crazy person. Here they are. To be like, why did you attract this person into your life? What do you need to learn? What do you need to clear? Whether you'd be with this person or not is kind of irrelevant. The universe says, I don't really care. I care that this person awakened to the way that they were living and to see what they're settling for. No one should really keep anyone prisoner forever. That karmic doesn't have the right to do that, regardless of what this person has done, because the universe says it's like they also contributed to staying in that connection and doing whatever they did. They could have ended it. So yes, it's kind of like, like it's normal to be angry, right? But it's not good what this karmic is doing. So the universe, like, I need this person to get out of their situation and to get to a place where they can like start their healing so that they could revert back to their original energy of unconditional love. That's all that the universe wants, because the universe says when you're in alignment, you have my same energy. Everybody has the same energy, which is the energy of love. This person doesn't love themselves. That's a problem, because it's going to turn into sickness and other issues. Keep this person like detached, feeling detached from their creator, source, love, and spirit says that's a problem. So that karmic doesn't have a right to do that, and you help them do that. But what was it supposed to do for you, really? Because like spirit says, when this person actually gets out of their situation, it would be better. They'll be better regardless of whether or not you're with them or not. And so for you, I only care that you revert back to your energy of unconditional love so you can attract exactly what you want. And clearly this was not it. So we have to say again, rage, card number 1. Card number 2, isolated. Card number 3, abandonment. Card number 4, neglect. Okay, so we see why. Okay, loner. All these cards are alone. Like all these cards are alone. Oppression. So it's almost like you're a mirror of what comes into your life. So fragmented. So understand this could have been a family member. It could be family. It could be friends. It could be a teacher. It could be somebody that was supposed to show you love, but didn't show you love. Instead, they weren't there for you. They were always angry. Like everything was an issue, I feel like. And so that when you can't talk to a parent, then obviously your needs are not met. And it seems like it's not important. And what's important is making sure that that parent is not angry, is not full of rage. But understand, if you grow up with a parent like that, then when you heal, you're not going to heal with, that support. You're going to heal in isolation. You're going to be more of a loner, because again, that parent that was rageful, that was the first person that taught you about the outside world. And so when we begin to see things not from a very confident standpoint, when we're brought up with a parent that's just angry and needed healing and couldn't deal with their own issue and actually projected a lot of their pain onto you where you were oppressed. Like you weren't allowed to flourish. You weren't allowed to like bloom your own way. And that affects the second chakra, which is all about your unique individuality, who you perceive that you are when you look in the mirror. And so, again, part of it is I don't have anyone, abandonment and neglect. And what is this person? This person couldn't be there for you. They abandoned you and they neglected you, but because they're giving to somebody else. So this definitely kicked up a lot of energy. And it's not because they didn't have feelings, because they still have feelings. They're just not, they're not present. They're daydreaming about what life would be like in the future with you and fantasizing about being in the bedroom with you, but they're not giving any energy because they're still connected to that person and they need to break that karmic contract. No one's going to save them. And that's what they're trying to work through now. And Spirit says, so being that you were neglected, understand you have to reparent yourself. You have to do something in order to not attract people that emotionally will not show up for you, to not attract those type of people, because that's the karmic theme. I get people that they have feelings for me, but this is the way that they show it to me. So I always feel like it's like it's nothing. And really Spirit says, yeah, but you are love. So that's impossible to not be able to attract love. You are love. The universe's energy is love. That's what's inside of you. So there's no separation. The illusion is that there's separation. You're like, no, because that's what this person did. That's how I grew up. That's what keeps on playing out. And Spirit says, because you have to do something different. You have to embody a full new consciousness. That's how you fully transmute that negative energy. You can't just get rid of negative energy. You're the alchemist of your life. You have to replace it. The reptilian mind will not let you get rid of anything until there's something to put in its place. Otherwise, you're seen as dead, or it seems as void, nothing. And the mind's like, I'm not going to be nothing. I'd rather be defective than nothing. I'd rather be defective or not good enough or not have than be dead. It's just that simple. So Spirit says, again, the situation was for you to alchemize. We knew that, so that you could fully transform. Now it's time to go into uncharted waters so that you can, again, see who you are today, walk from a level of consciousness that's confident, that's deserving of love. That's what you're doing. You're saying, I'm confident. You're going out into the world and you're showing people who you are today, not the wounds of the past where no one showed up. Spirit says, you're not supposed to be with anyone right now. You have to go into uncharted waters. And again, to learn how to be vulnerable, it's about giving and receiving of love through your free will. Again, that's how you had to integrate, again, all facets of yourself. This relationship was all about transformation. I don't know if you saw that, but Spirit says you needed to see your worth. You needed to say, I'm deserving of love. Just because you can't show up for me and you have your issues, that's your issue. You're not going to make me feel as if I'm not good enough because you're stuck in some weird karmic contract. And I'm certainly not going to settle for less, regardless of the situation. Because we got literally integrate, alchemize, and transform, the three biggest cards. These are the only cards in the deck that, are all about integrating. So it was a very important connection. Tells me it was a karmic mate that could have stepped it up to twin flame, but wasn't capable of it. And really Spirit says, now it's all about aligning your actions with your heart's true desires. So you can attract the type of love that's supposed to be. Follow your passion, become the passion for life, give and receive of love through your passion for life, through what you love, where you lose your time, your energy, your focus, and your money. Again, that's how you live your bliss. You become the energy of love. So that's when you're going to attract the person that the divine brings to you, the right person, someone that's more in alignment with who you are today. So this was a karmic test that you passed. And I'm going to leave that there. Oh, no, we're not. Spirit says, no, you're not. They'll pull from this deck. And this is kind of like the God deck. So, of course, Spirit would be like, oh, hell no. Like you need to pull from that deck. Sorry. Okay. One more, and that is joy, like a child. Be like childlike, Spirit says, and discover the joy and the simplicity of life. Happiness lies in the magical moments, not in the material. It's about becoming yourself. Even the smallest joy is a great source of light. So that when Spirit says be like childlike, it's about no expectations, no ownership. You're just going out in life and trying things that you love, or trying things that you think you might love, to help you see again who you are today. You don't know 100% of who you are because you grew up in an environment that you were always alone. And really, Spirit says, hey, it's about connecting to each other. It's about giving and receiving of love. It's about being vulnerable. It's about stepping into those energies for you. Again, the heart chakra. Hey, for this person, whoever this story resonates with, they should be wearing these crystal bracelets because, again, their heart chakra is a little bit was trained to be closed from the environment. But now it's about, learning how to open your heart. And it's not with a person. It's first with yourself, connecting to people on a deep, intimate level. And that's really what it is. Otherwise, you can't really fully heal because you won't see yourself differently. It's not just about seeing how you contributed to the imbalances within the connection, how the dynamic of that connection played out. It's also about, transmuting that negative energy. Without the embodiment, Spirit says, you're in physical form to learn and to manifest. That's it. I need to see the new energy. So now we leave it there. So you're going from that fear and anger into energy like a child. Fun. Okay, it takes me so long to heal from all this. Very special YouTube channel. Thank you, Michael Brown. And healing is a process, It's like you're continuously peeling layers. You're continually, like creating like new versions of yourself. There's new awarenesses. So one way to heal without saying, oh my God, it takes so long, is to actually like be like a child, embody the energy of love, find what you love, because you're not your trauma. Again, healing happens over time. So if we are looking into a like water boiling, where we're waiting for our water to boil, it takes forever. But if you notice, if you're trying to throw the laundry in and do a lot of other things, all of a sudden you're like, shit, the water, I forgot. And then you go and you notice that half the water is gone in the pot, because, hey, you've been healing this whole time. You are healing this whole time. You're not like, it's happening. It's not like it's not happening. We think, well, I don't see the results. And Spirit says, you got to create those results. Go into uncharted waters. Find yourself. Be like a child. Because then what'll happen is you'll say, wow, that doesn't affect me anymore. I met Roberta the other night, and Roberta, she's got a problem with everything. And normally those people really piss me off. But, she didn't affect me. You'll notice stuff like that. You'll notice the way that you deal with situations like that person, like was trying to sabotage me. But instead of me reacting, I let them hang themselves. Like you do different things because you're changing as you're on the walk, as you're on your path, going into uncharted waters. You're more tapped into the higher self, the God part of self, because you're letting your intuition guide you because, hey, you don't know. You don't know. And Spirit says, this is what it is to be on a faith walk. And so it should be seen as an adventure, that the whole time that you're on this adventure, you're being brought people and situations and experiences that are shaping you into the person of who you are today, and healing those wounds of the past because you're seeing them from a different perception. And that's what you got to see today, that this person did. It's not that they don't have love. Just like your mother did, or father, or whoever that was, a teacher, friend, sibling, that like also loved you. That's what it looked like, Spirit said, fragmented. So you better make sure you know how to love yourself fully. And that's what wasn't. By you going into uncharted waters, you get to learn how to do that. And that's why this relationship was all about transformation and not really about ever being together. Thank you, Alex, and thank you, Michael, and thank you, everyone else. Give the video a like, share, subscribe. Don't forget about my Otter Spirit bracelets. I love them. I love this one especially. I say it all the time. Look at that freaking bracelet again. And if you're interested in shadow healing coaching, now is the time. And yes, I am open for personal readings. And check out my healing products. We have here my Oracle deck. We have Christian affirmation cards. And we have the Healing the Effects of Psychic Trauma book. This is about a little bit about my autobiography, but it's only half written. The other half, I was waiting till my husband died, and he just died. So I am in the process of writing the other half of the book. And there's the Christian affirmation and the Christian metaphysical healing book. And that's all about integrating those spiritual blocks and turning them into power through understanding how scripture works, how we can actually apply that into our life, really, because one day heaven will be on earth, and it's through the character of man. And that's when we embody that energy of love, regardless of what our neighbor looks like, where our neighbor lives, what our neighbor car that they drive. We don't care. Is that we're happy within ourselves, so we could actually be happy for that person. And we don't really care whether they want to dress like a clown or whether they want to, wear a banana on their head. We don't care. We're just happy for them that they are able to express themselves and feel good about themselves because we feel good about ourselves. That's what that means, that we're here to raise the vibration of the planet, and we can actually do that when we heal ourselves. We give permission to other people to be able to heal themselves too, and to know that everybody is made of the same energy, and that's love. And it's our job to help them and to know that. So thank you. Thank you for sharing your energy with me. And until next time, be true to you. Remember that. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.